You're walking along the street, or you're at a party, or else you're alone, and then you suddenly dig. You're looking in someone's eyes, you suddenly realize that this could be the start of something big.
You're lunching at 21 or watching your diet, declining a Charlotte Russe, accepting a fig. When out of the clear blue sky, you suddenly guy, and this could be the start of something big.
Hey, everyone! We ain't singers. We just love to have fun.
I'm a singer.
What?
I'm a singer.
All right. Well, we're just so excited that we are here and we get to see everybody. And Nyoka, I haven't seen you, Nyoka, in a while. And our girlfriend, Michelle, is here.
Michelle, number
Yes.
one.
Yes. So it's so great to get to see everybody and to get to do this. And so how is everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. Hey, Deborah is also here. We're just really excited that we are here. Last week, we couldn't do this because I had an event. Hey, Karen and Phyllis. Hello, Canada's in the house. So I had an event last Sunday that was from 4 to 6. And it was Maribel, mira.
Maribel.
It was down here in the Cape, but it was like 23 minutes away or so where I was doing this event at Dunn and Sons. And it was a group of 16 people. It was the max of 16. And it was the Croxies. It was an amazing event. Because as I mentioned, I think on Elix's show Friday, or I don't remember when, that it's tough to do smaller groups because, when you do those smaller groups, I have to hit everybody. So those 16 people all got read. Whereas, hey, Barbara, if it's a big group, like if I'm doing 100, 150 people, the pressure's off me, right? Because I can just go around, Spirit leads me, and I get to as many people as I can. But clearly 150 people I can't get to, like in Braintree, right? 16 people, like one after another. So, but it was fantastic. It was the validations and the connections were amazing. So, and you know what I love, Elix, is when I get emails or messages after the fact when people just love that they got the connection after the fact and want to send me a message about it.
Because sometimes in the moment, people can't think about what it is that you're giving them as a, but then eventually you get a lot of texts or emails or people just posting it on social media that, oh my God, I got that thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that thing.
Yeah, that thing, whatever that is.
So that's why we couldn't do it. There's just no way we could have got home here for 7 o'clock and get it done. But you know what? Doesn't matter because we're here now and we're going to have a great time. And you know what? I don't want to pronounce hi, hey, Sil. I don't want to.
Jojo.
It's
Jojo. What is the? He hasn't even drank today. What were you gonna pronounce? How are you gonna pronounce?
I couldn't see Jojo.
Jojo.
Hey, Jojo.
Shout out to Jojo.
I swear, I thought I saw like Jai, and I'm like, hi. I didn't. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't screwing it up.
So thank God he didn't.
Bernie is in the house.
Bernie. By the way, shout out to Erica and Adam, the owners of Dunn and Sons and the Pheasant, because they are the ones that hosted that event last Sunday, and they're amazing people.
Yes.
So if you're listening or watching us, hi Erica, hi Adam.
And another shout out to Kat.
From
last night. The first time we hit this restaurant, Water Street Kitchen in Woods Hole, down here on the Cape. Phenomenal.
Amazing.
And Kat, our server, was incredible. I better not say too much though, because Jillian might be here listening.
Oh, God.
The joint that we hit weekly. And
that will send her to drink.
Oh, she is.
There she is. So she was.
I love Jillian.
Kat was good.
Yeah, she wasn't like Jillian.
No, but talking about
June.
Water Street Kitchen, what an amazing place.
Yes, it was amazing. It was amazing.
I mean, for those of you who saw Steven's posting with all the food, that's why I'm wearing sweats today, because I needed spandex to just get myself into after everything that we ate last night.
Maternity clothes.
Oh
Someone actually posted, how do you guys stay thin with all that food? And honestly, it's first of all because we exercise.
Well, CrossFit
I'm
for
a
me.
huge runner, and he does CrossFit.
Yeah.
And but on a daily basis, we just eat really healthy. We do.
For the most part.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do. As I just finished eating a donut.
Or a bottle of wine here and there, just saying.
Usually,
Yeah.
we eat very, very well. So,
Yes.
and June, we love you too. It's been a while since I've seen you, June.
And I'm starting my 72-hour fasting.
You're really going to bring this up.
Steven is hysterical about it, but yes, starting right now, like
Listen,
Kramer would say. Just
what
move along,
no,
baby.
listen,
Just,
what nut in their right mind decided that, okay, let's just fast for 3 days and that's going to change your life? And it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. And Elix says, you have to support me. And I said, of course I'm going to support you, but you have to support me because I need to eat three times a day.
He's like, so long you feed me, I don't care what you do. I just need to eat. That's what he said. So what now he's an attorney and doctor. So he's got everything. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
So
yeah. Well, that's
yes.
just a
fasting. I do, what is it? I do 8.6.
18.6. Right?
That's amazing. I
That's
do
almost a
every day.
marathon, Maddie Bell.
Yeah, I do.
Lori.
I do extended, but this time I want to do 72 hours. So that's 3 days.
Just crazy.
So
how is everybody?
We'll let you know how that worked out next week.
Donna Marie, I think.
So
it's hard to see from here.
Well, that's because we have a lot of spotlights, in front of us.
Susan McDermott's here. So,
ooh,
get
baby.
well soon. We want you to get well.
Happy birthday to you. She's probably peeing her pants right about now.
But
if you don't know the reference, that's a Seinfeld reference. Yes. So get
it's
yourself.
A huge Seinfeld.
That's right. So want to tell them we're single.
For you people that are very, very good with your being very observant, you may notice that no wedding ring here and no wedding ring here either. Dana. I can't believe Dana's here. Dana, we got to get together with you and your crazy best friend. We got to set something up, right? But in any case, so
this is what he does. He starts one conversation, then starts another one, and I'm like trying to get him back.
No, seriously, Dana and Karen have been on my mind since we went to Tom's.
Yes, Michelle, we'll tell you the why before the end of tonight's show. I promise you'll know why we don't have wedding rings today. So
before the end of 2024.
Tell them. So I almost had a catastrophe with my ring because I lost a stone, and there's diamonds in our rings, and I just very randomly just looked at my ring and noticed, one of my stones is missing. So I was really concerned about it, and it just didn't look right. It looked like a ghetto ring, and it was driving me crazy. So we went to a jewelry store here in Hyannis.
Yes.
And we asked about getting them fixed. So for mine, they have to order some baguettes and see which one is the one that's going to fit better. But mine was already loose because once you lose one stone, it makes the whole thing
I did not know that. Maybe you guys knew that. I didn't realize that the stones are all on one track. So if one leaves or falls out, then the rest, it's just a matter of time. They're going to start doing the same. They're just going to be sliding because there's nothing to sort of hold it in, right?
Yeah. So I could have lost more than one stone, thankfully.
Hey, Renee.
Hi, Renee.
And Elena. Hello.
We got it there.
So we went there anyway, right?
Yes.
And so I said, check my ring too. And my ring was good, but she said that she could turn the little
it was
stones
loose,
around. So she took mine to just, tighten them up, clean the ring, my bracelet too, that I feel naked, seriously. And fix Elix's ring. But in this jewelry shop, we were not getting out of there without I was reading her, right? It's just one of those things that I do. So her name is Diane. Denise. And she had a fantastic reading.
The whole team.
Yeah, the whole team was
The whole
around
team,
us when I
yeah.
started, right? But when they realized what I was doing, but um, as Denise was behind the counter, I could see her, like she kept saying, I'm the sister, I'm her sister. And it was actually a sister-in-law and the father next to her. So it was the father and sister-in-law. So they both did an amazing job. And she didn't actually say this, Helix, but it almost felt like she's never had a reading.
I don't think
She said
I don't think-
she's very private and
But she was fascinated and she really wanted it, and she got every validation that you
She did.
gave her. She was very quick.
did.
Her coworkers, because these people have worked together for, we noticed there was some certificates behind where they were with 35 years, 25 years, 30 years. So all of them have been working together as colleagues for that long. So they knew each other.
Yeah.
So as he was saying stuff, her coworkers were like, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes!" So they were validating things for Denise.
You know what the really cool thing was? I said to Denise, all your father wants you to know is that he's with you every day, every moment, every minute. She lost him a long time ago, and I said, and he's talking about the family. That's how these readings work. It's like if he was still here in the real world and just talking like to a stranger and explaining or talking about his family. That's how readings work, right? So the father said, talk about the tattoo on the leg. And I'm like, okay. So I tell her, Denise, I said, your father's talking about a tattoo on someone's leg. So she's like, a tattoo on the leg? And so I'm like, said to the dad, the father, I'm like, give me more. She's not getting this. And he was like, say David. I'm like, who's David? And she was like, that's my brother. And then she was like high pitched. Oh my God, he's got a tattoo on his leg. It was wild. It was just so wild. And I was, like I said, I get a hug at the end of it and, we'll see them. And I think the others are hoping when we come back that it's their time next, right?
Oh, I think they'll have his stuff ready sooner than later so that he can go back. Mine, I think, is going to be a little longer because I have to wait for the stone, but I think yours is going to be done very soon.
Oh, so I'm going to wear a wedding ring and you're not?
I'm single.
Well, so that's not gonna work.
So if anyone knows, I'm single.
That's not gonna work.
So if anyone knows,
just saying. So okay, so
but by the way, Elena, if that ever happened with our teeth, this would never be happening. So don't even bring that up because I was
Elena, you know
horrified.
but you did bring it up, and you probably, if you watch the show and watch when I do Through the Static in my lives, a couple of months ago, one of my back teeth was way in the back. I had a root canal, and it completely just broke because it had been there for so long.
Chattered.
So yeah, right. So he said, you want to pull it? You have to get rid of it because it's going to get infected. So you can pull it and leave it like that. I'm like, so I'm going to leave a hole in my mouth. And he said, or you can do an implant. So I just actually finished with the surgeon, got thumbs up, and now in 2 weeks I'm going to my dentist to finish the implant. But that's what the dentist said too. I mean, you'd be okay, but your teeth are not supposed to have an open tooth, right? An open spot.
Because they're
going to start shifting or whatever.
God,
but I also get that it
imagine?
is not cheap. Like the implants are not covered by insurance. It's really expensive, but let me just tell you, if you ever are in the predicament of getting an implant, don't listen to the stories that how bad it is if you ever hear them, because I got to tell you, it was good. He was amazing, and it was just getting it done and then healing. So it's
the doctor was amazing. The patient not as amazing because are stories. There are stories you're saying. So I'm not sure when he's like, oh, it was so easy, and wasn't that easy, people? Just saying.
No, well, the first appointment, Elix waited outside in the car for me when I was getting it done because I was nervous because I'm a baby. And I texted him and said, I was in the chair, and I texted him and said, I think I'm going to be coming out. And he's like, texted me back. He was like, what the hell is going on? So from the get-go, one of the assistants was completely negative. And it's not good to be negative around me, especially when I'm having this procedure done.
But it's one of those things like, oh, by the way, we're gonna give you this medication, and one of the side effects is you could die. Most people don't, but you could.
No,
but it was something like that.
No, but
and you were
no. It wasn't. He's making it sound like this dentist office is horrible.
Well,
you may die.
He almost walked out of the dentist's
I
office
did, but I'm not finished.
within
I'm not finished.
5 minutes of being there, but I'm the one who makes it that
No,
horrible.
so I didn't like her from the get-go, and I usually don't like quickly assess like that, but she was just like, did the doctor tell you, this is what she said, did the doctor tell you like 7% or blah blah blah, it doesn't take or so? And I'm like, well, he did, but I know I'm not going to be the 7%. Well, you don't know. And I'm looking at her like, I'm sitting in the damn chair. What do you mean I don't know? And that just set me off, right? Then all of a sudden I hear what sounds like they're bringing in a catered party for me because I'm going to die. I hear the wheels and the tray coming in. I'm like, they're bringing me lunch, like a turkey sandwich. And they pull up the tray and there's all these little vials. And I looked at her like, and she said, which arm? I'm like, which arm for what? And she said, to take blood. I'm like, where am I? Like, what? I'm having a tooth done. And then she told me that, we need blood to mix with the concoction. I had never heard of that. In the consultation, nobody said any of that. So I said to her, listen, you need to get the doctor like ASAP. I said, and you need to get another assistant. So she left, never came back. The doctor came in and I was livid because I said, he was like, Stephen, if you don't want to do the blood, I'm like, it's not about doing the blood. I'm like, when were you going to tell me? Right now? No one told you that? I'm like, no, of course nobody told me that. Nobody told me I was going to I'm going to a dentist office. Who the hell thinks I'm going to get blood? So it just, and again, I'm really nervous about it. I've never had any kind of operation. So in any case, I was very, very scared and very nervous. And after that, though, me and the doctor are like this, the dentist. So after we got it all set.
He's afraid. He's like, I want to keep him as my friend.
So I didn't do the blood. I guess they use the plasma for your blood that's supposed to heal you up better, which of course would have made it better for me, right? But because I didn't know, I sort of took a little bit of a fit. I was this close to leaving, but then I'm like, then I'm going to have like this, Grand Canyon in my back of my mouth that, I don't know, peas are going to be living and, setting up a colony back there in that hole. And I didn't want that. So I stayed and everything worked out well. So, and as a matter of fact, just to show you how nice I am, when I went for my final, I came home and told STELIX I had that same assistant. She came in, hi, Stephen.
And he didn't say anything back to her.
I did so.
So he was so nice.
I did so.
So just, he's easy. He's very easygoing, very easy-go-lucky.
Lord.
So, by the way, your favorite person, Jillian,
yes,
spell your name with a PH. Just saying, after all these years, you don't even know how to spell his name. So you just went down a few notches. Just saying. Good luck with that.
Well, listen, so what's going on with you? I mean, I'm chatting, I'm talking, this is our wrap. So tell everybody what's going on with STELIX syndrome.
Well, like I said, I'm starting my 72-hour fasting.
Okay.
So let's see. We had a great show Friday. So if you did not listen to my live show, which you should be listening to my live show every Friday at 1 p.m., Get a Grip with Coach STELIX, you should go back and re-listen to the show. It's either you can listen now at the WRA Facebook page, or you can wait until it gets put into my podcast and listen to any of my shows on
Facebook too.
Or Facebook, that's right.
On mine or his Facebook page, and you can play it there too.
Yes, but it was amazing. We had an amazing guest. Who was he?
I don't know. He was really nice looking. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, because on the radio you can see how nice looking anyone is. But he was amazing, and we talked about stepping out of your personality. Yes. And it was a really, really awesome conversation, and I think it's a conversation that really it's for all of us, because it's about holding on to these old narratives and beliefs that we grew up with, that we heard people. Or people taught us about ourselves. One of those is boys don't cry. And stepping out of that, really creating a new narrative. And Stephen did an amazing job.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun to be, I'm always the co-host, but it was really fun to be the guest on that show too.
He was the headliner. So,
and by the way, next week, every last Friday of the month, I take his spot at 1 p.m. and do through the STELIX. So if you're
Sweet.
around Friday, 1 p.m., call and you get a reading. Just call and it's free.
So you
can
get
get a reading. You can
Steven
talk to
again.
whoever you want
That's right.
in spirit. So Michelle, thank you. So
Thank you, Michelle.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I think we've said it all. Is there any? I mean, we are going to New York City.
Yes.
And if we haven't shared this yet, I surprised Steven because we're going to see Moulin Rouge on Broadway. But the reason why we're going to go see Moulin Rouge is because the headliner of Moulin Rouge is the one and only Boy George. So if you know Boy George,
Come on, chameleon.
That's just
You come and go.
There you go.
Come and go.
So how amazing is that? We get to see Boy George, and I got really, really amazing
Hi, Colleen.
seats because Moulin Rouge, if you've seen the show, the front part of the stage is set up as tables. They call them, I think, the Kit Kat tables or the club. And so we're on one of those tables. So it's going to be a win-win. And then we're heading a month after that on April 1st. We are heading to
Don't mind me.
Los Angeles. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of work in Los Angeles and Santa Monica, and then a little bit of fun in Palm Springs, California, which is one of our very favorite places.
I love that. I just scrolled down because hello to Colleen. First time she's watching from the UK.
Oh my goodness.
How cool is that?
Hello.
From the UK. I love it.
Hello.
I love it. But and I'm so excited about both, right? Because we'll see what happens, in California because we've got some things going on, which is really exciting, but Palm Springs is the best. But let me quickly, and I really say quickly, let me just tell you something that happened yesterday in a reading. So I already asked the person if I could talk about this, and she said yes. She gave me the thumbs up, and I love her anyway. But I did a past life reading yesterday. I had a full day of readings. My last reading of the day, was it the last one? Yeah, because the one after it was rescheduled. So the last one was a past life reading. So we're all set up on doing the past life reading. How it really works in a nutshell is that I get permission. I go into the Akashic Records. I pull your past lives, and we have tons of past lives. And whomever is connected to you will actually sort of extract specific past lives that affect your current life. So in other words, what they're trying to do in these past lives is try to explain to you maybe if you have a phobia, like why you have the phobia, or maybe if you have a liking for something and why you love it or hate it. It's really amazing, these past life readings. So I'm doing this reading. The first past life reading that comes in is I'm watching it opening up, and I'm telling her what I'm seeing. It was back from like I'm not always the greatest with time frames, but it felt like it was like the 1700s, late 1700s, I think it was. And she was a Native American. And I'm watching the story, and I don't know, sometimes they focus on the profession, sometimes they focus just on the family life. I never know what. But when they get to a point, as I'm speaking about what I'm seeing, there's times that then I'll see a direct like beam go to the person I'm reading, which means that's what I need to really focus on. That's the part of the past life that is connected to her and will help her and have a better perspective. So I said to her, you were a American Indian, and I said, you fall off what looks like a dock and you go underwater in this pond and you're drowning and you drown and you die. Because in this past life, I can actually see you leaving your body, your soul's going up. Ultimately, someone sees her fall into the water, they get her out, and whatever they do back in the 1700s, they get her back. They get her back here, whether it was CPR back then or whatever the case may be. And she's living again. And she was, I think, I don't know if I said 11 or 9 years old, somewhere around there. I can't remember. So, but I did say to her, but then the issue is in this life is that the villages around your village, because her village is Native American, all the other non-Native Americans are giving your village such a tough time because they think now you're like the devil or whatever they would use back then that's not good. Because how could this 9 or 11-year-old girl die and come back? She's dead. And if she's coming back, and she is coming back because they see her, then another entity took over her body, which is a bad entity. So there was a lot of problems around, and I hear screaming. It just seems like this village of the Native Americans were going through a lot, just really solely based, and maybe there was other stuff going on based on that. But that life she lived, and I explained that to her. At the end of the past life readings, past life are coming through. I think she had 3. Sometimes people have 3, sometimes people have 6. She had 3 because they were very intense. She tells me at the end of the reading that when she was, I think, 14, I think that's what she said, 12 or 14, is right around the same age as what I explained to her about this Native American and what happened to her. She wrote a letter, and it was from the perspective of Native Americans, as if she was a Native American, and wrote a letter. This is, mind you, at 14 years old or 12 years old, wrote this letter, and it just outwardly, like the letter was all about how other cultures are trying to take our land and leave us alone. It was exactly what I saw in the past life. So when she still has the letter, by the way, and she said that she never could understand why she wrote the letter from the Native American perspective when she's not Native American. And once I explained to her that almost the same time frame or the same age, you sort of picked up or connected to that past life, felt that past life from the 1700s, because we're all attached, right? That's our past lives we can't get rid of. And you usually when I do these past lives, the past lives are helping us to resolve something or see a different perspective. In this particular case, she was helping the past life. She tuned into that past life, and her way was to write a letter, because she knew that in a past life, without actually being conscious about it, that past life was going through that in her Native American village or community.
By the way, Colleen says that's absolutely amazing, but that's not all.
It's not. I'm not. Colleen, stay with me.
Stay
Hey, Heidi,
tuned.
stay with me. So, hey, Pauline, and I'm sorry if I'm missing people because I'm just trying to tell the story. So I could tell that she was just so hyped up, and it was like, oh my God. We've emailed each other a couple of times after that because she cannot believe this. She just couldn't believe this whole situation. So I finished the reading, and of course, I think I have another reading coming up, and then I realized that during that reading, someone rescheduled it. So I'm done for Saturday. I go downstairs because I was starving because I had back-to-back readings, and I made a muffin. So I am not kidding you, because I took a picture of it. So I get it out of the oven. I go on the kitchen counter. I'm sitting. I put butter on it, and I am set up. I look at my phone, just make sure nobody's emailed me. And I look down at the muffin, and the butter just designed itself with an outline of a Native American guy. So I don't even know the words. I had chills from my feet to my head, and I'm looking at it like. And of course, I grabbed Elix. I'm like, Elix, do you see this? And right away, yeah,
it was that obvious.
In
like
butter.
I saw, a Native American profile immediately. So
I took a picture, and I will ask her if it's okay for me. Which I just want to make sure it's okay that I can post it so you actually get to see it, because I have a picture and I sent it to her. She responded and said, I think without even looking at my caption, she saw the Native American. And I said, let me just see something. So I sent this to my best friend and didn't tell him what it was, and said, do you see something different or strange in this? And it's a muffin, right? It's a picture of a muffin with butter on it. And Paul just texted me right back and says, yeah, I see an Indian, a Native American's profile. Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing. Just another validation that was real. The past life was real. The connection was real. And she, the person I was reading, is off the chart connected to. She is so gifted. It's crazy. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's just something to think about. And and I think a lot of people don't really think about past lives and how sort of pertinent they are to this life. And that's where we get so many things from these past lives. So, which was really, really cool. So Syl just said she loved it, noticed the profile too. I love that, Syl. So it was amazing. It really was. And that was the first one. And she had some amazing second and third past life readings, but it was just incredible. It just gives you this perspective of why you're here and just how large this thing that we're living in is, and that we don't know much of anything, right? There's so much that we don't know. So how was that?
It's amazing.
It was amazing. It really was amazing. And if you're interested in a past life reading, just go to my website, stephenthemedium.com, and you can actually book one.
He's a one-stop shop.
Exactly.
You can have it all.
Exactly.
That's the reason I've been hanging around for 30 plus years, just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I clearly you saw, I sing, I make clothes. There's a section in my website that if you want something.
You crochet. Yeah. And he's starting to learn how to cook. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Like Oprah would say, amazing. But you know what's amazing? We got to start doing this.
We do, Michelle. Thank you.
Finish at some point tonight.
Thank you.
So a couple of weeks ago, I did the pizza. And there, many of you who watched actually sent me pictures. You did pizza, and everything looked amazing. So it tells me that everyone followed the instructions. There was a little confusion, people thinking that I actually put the dough in the microwave to cook. No, I don't. I just I heat the microwave for 3 minutes, and then I use that warm space to put the dough to allow it to rise, but I don't cook it. But anyways, nevertheless, many of you did the recipe, and you had asked me because I did a pesto sauce with mozzarella, fresh mozzarella. So we talked about why don't I share with you what that pesto sauce is. And this pesto sauce is super easy. And I'm doing everything with you right here, right now, today.
Right here, right now.
So if you want to, just make sure you grab yourself a pen, piece of paper, so that you can jot down what you need. But it's very, very simple. And this is a very different pesto. And it's different because I use honey roasted pistachios, not pecan. Scratch that.
It was a P.
Honey roasted pistachios. And that does give it it's just a very delicious, different flavor profile. And it's good as a dip for veggies. It's good for pasta. It's good for pizza. And be creative. You could use it on fish if you want to do some fish in the oven. So you could use this recipe for just about anything. So
I'm gonna move.
I'm ready to
the
get
camera
started.
so we can see. But I just want to respond to Colleen. Yes, all our past lives affect this life on so many different levels. And yes, I ate the muffin.
Of course you did.
Well, I took a picture of it first, but then the muffin was really good. It was a chocolate chip muffin. It was really, really good.
That I got for him
Of
because
course.
I spoil him every single day. So what you need,
Hold on.
let's make sure that we are all here and that you can see all my ingredients. Beautiful. I think we're good, Stephen.
Okay.
So this recipe is a basil pesto, but I not only use basil. So I got 2 packages of fresh basil, and it smells delicious, by the way. So I use basil and I use parsley. So just to start, what I do is I don't like to use the stems. If you care to use the stems, go ahead, knock yourself out. But I don't. I prefer to take the stems out, so I just use the actual leaf, the basil leaf. So that's what I'm doing. And I put it all here in the, what is that called, Stephen? What is this called? A blender? No, it's not a blender.
The processor.
It's a food processor, excuse me. So sometimes I have the name in Spanish in my head. By the way, talking about Spanish, hola to todos, para todos mis compañeros, amigos de Puerto Rico y de toda Latinoamérica. Si están viendo el programa, bienvenidos y espero que disfruten esta receta de pesto de pistacho. Yo no sé cómo decir pistacho en español, pero eso es lo que hay. Bienvenidos. I just said welcome. What did I say, Steven? You want to translate that to everyone?
It was just so simple. Like, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
I'm shocked because you often
It was good.
know how to translate everything. So there's one entire package of basil. Again, depending on how much you want to use, you could do as much or as little as you want. This is a really awesome, easy recipe that you could freeze. By the way, that's what I do. I freeze it because I like to keep it, and I take it out. I put it in pizza. I put it in pasta. So this is a recipe that is very versatile, and it doesn't matter. You can do as much or as little as you want. So I'm just gonna do a little fast here. So I just did 2 packages of pesto here, and to that I like to add a little Italian parsley. So, and you don't need to worry about cutting the parsley. In the parsley, I actually do add the stems to the parsley, and so the parsley gives it also, it adds an extra flavor profile. I have also added mint to this recipe, but if you do not do a lot of mint, because mint can actually be powerful and you can overtake.
And you gotta get the garlic too.
The flavor profile, very good, Steven. So my, like any basil, sorry. This is, I've told you guys many times before, of course you can use fresh garlic, but this is my secret. If you don't have this at home, I urge you, go get it. This is one of the best things you'll ever have. I use this because I love garlic and I don't ever want to be worried about my garlic going bad. So this is actually frozen garlic, and it gets frozen immediately after it gets removed from the actual garlic thing. And I keep it in the refrigerator, and every little one is like a head of garlic. So we're gonna do 3.
Sandra is here.
Hello, Sandra. Sandra's one of the people that did the pizza for Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
So again, this is my secret recipe. I highly recommend that you have this always in your freezer. You know what? I'm gonna add one more because I used 2 packages of basil, and
Lori wants a chocolate chip muffin now. Lori, if I was closer, I'd come give it to you.
I don't know. I can't help with that. Now I'm gonna use an entire lemon, and but what I love to do is love to use both the zest of the lemon and the lemon juice. The zest of the lemon, because again, it's the zest is actually a very gentle lemon profile. And
Sandra said she's gonna make it soon.
yes. And again, no matter when you make this, you could put it in the freezer or the refrigerator. If you're gonna use it within the week, you can refrigerate it. If you make a big batch like I'm making tonight, you may want to freeze it so that it can last for months at a time. So I love the zest because the zest gives it a very gentle lemony profile in the background. And then of course we are going to cut the lemon and use some of the lemon juice as well. So this is about the whole lemon. And we are using the juice of the lemon as well. So far we have 2 packages. And again, you can eyeball this. This is one of those recipes where there's no wrong. You know, you cannot go wrong with it. just play with it, be playful with it, and just do what you love. By the way, if you don't eat pistachios, you can use walnuts, you could use almonds. I made it with all of the above. Or you could use the traditional, I forgot what the traditional one, Italian one is. Oh my God, what is the traditional? If somebody knows, just put it in the chat because I forget. So far we have the juice of one entire lemon, the zest of one entire lemon. We have 2 packages of basil and a bunch of parsley, Italian parsley. This is not flat, not curly parsley. This is just.
Still said pine nuts. Is that it?
Pine nuts. Thank you. Thank you. So here's my other secret. These are honey roasted pistachios. So you don't have to get the pistachios and roast them and put the honey. You can simply get this. It's super easy and it's already super tasty. Now, the thing about using this is that then you have to be somewhat careful with the amount of cheese that you use, and absolutely no additional salt because this is already salted. So I'm gonna use about a half cup of honey roasted pistachios. This is my secret, my go-to secret. And to that, we are going to use, I would say probably a cup, I would say.
What kind of oil?
Of olive oil. Now this is extra virgin olive oil. I always recommend get very good quality olive oil. In fact, get good quality products for everything that you do. A good quality product is gonna yield a good quality pesto or whatever it is that you're making. So that's a rule of thumb.
Miyoko
right
says she thinks she's gonna love making it.
Yeah, this is super easy. So just bear with me. So we're just blending this now. I'm gonna add some more oil to this because I like my pesto. Okay, so we are going to. So I like my pesto smooth. If you like it chunky, then don't blend it. Don't keep it going as long, and you don't necessarily need to add as much oil as I did, but I like mine a little smooth because I use this for a lot of my pasta dishes and certainly for my pizza. So I'm just gonna add a little extra oil. And there's one thing that, what I did is I blended it a little bit because I wanted, all of these flavors to sort of mix a little bit. So one last thing that is...
Lori asked, do all pestos have nuts?
Well, I guess they don't have to.
If someone was allergic to nuts.
Yes, if you're allergic to nuts, you don't have to. I don't think you have to. I think if you put something else that will add flavor, I think that would be fine. Traditionally, what was the nut that somebody said there?
Pine nuts.
The pine nuts is your traditional Italian pesto, which is basil and pine nuts, olive oil and garlic. But I guess the answer to that is no, you don't have to. You don't have to add anything. So the last ingredient that I'm adding, by the way, this is Parmigiano Reggiano. You know my rule, never ever get anything that's already grated. I always get the real thing and then I grate it myself. So I'm actually adding about a half a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano here. And I don't want to add a lot because this is already salty. The pistachios, already have some salt. So I am absolutely not adding any additional salt to this. And I would say this is approximately about a half a cup of Cheese, you can add more if you want more cheese. You can add less if you want less cheese. So this is, and if you notice, now can you blend the whole thing together? Um, Instead of doing what I did, which is I blended the basil and the parsley and the nuts first. Yeah, you could do that. But again, I like my pesto soft and creamy. That's the reason I did it this way. And really, this is it. By the way, the garlic was frozen, but that garlic melts almost immediately, and this is what that pesto looks like. And it smells really delicious, Steven. So, does it smell? You can put it closer there. How does it smell, Steven?
Amazing. Delicious.
So this is what the pesto looks like. I am actually going to put this in a bowl and I'm gonna freeze this, but it is so simple. It is so delicious. This is, even though I like mine smooth, it's still chunky enough that you could use this as a veggie dip. And again, be creative. I think this is also wonderful if you're doing fish and you want to just put it over the fish. It's a wonderful, wonderful recipe that is super diverse, and you can use in many dishes as possible. Any questions? Because I can't see it from here.
No, everyone's saying yum. Sandra said, yes, most Italian pestos have pine nuts. And Karen says, love that cheese. So what Laurie asked about, does it have to have nuts? And I mean, maybe she wasn't talking about someone being allergic, but if you didn't use nuts, is there something else maybe that could flavor the pesto, or just not doing it at all would still be fine?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can still take the nuts out, the nuts add nuttiness to the pesto. And again, each nut has a different flavor profile. I've done it with walnuts, and the flavor when you do it with walnuts is very different than the flavor than when you do it with pistachios or with almonds, for that matter.
Now, Nyoka just said, I bet you could freeze this in ice cube trays.
You could, absolutely. You could do that. It depends on what you would want to use it for.
Thanks, Donna Marie.
For me, I just put it in a bowl. I freeze it in the bowl, and then I take it out, and depending on what I'm gonna use it for, so for example, I'm gonna show you, because I have.
Elena said she can smell the freshness. I'm sure you can, Elena.
I have some of the one that I've made for the pizza before. So this is what it looks like frozen. So I take this out, and depending on what I'm gonna make, if I know I'm gonna use the whole thing for a pasta dish, I put the whole thing out. Otherwise, I let it soften a little bit and use what I want, what I need for what I'm doing. So.
Do you have to microwave that to get it soft?
No. Oh, thank you. That's a really good question. So.
I'm a cook.
So he's a cook. So that's a really good point. Pesto should never, ever, ever be cooked. So that is absolutely. So see, if you're doing a pasta dish, you want to add the pesto after the pasta is done. If you're doing a fish, you want to roast the fish and then put the pesto on top over it. Now you can
after the fish is done.
Yeah, you could put it gently in the oven after, but you should never cook pesto. Pesto is really meant, unless you're doing pizza, of course. If you're doing pizza, the pizza is gonna cook the pesto, but the pesto is really, the flavor profile is really meant to be a very fresh, flavor. So that would be my take on it. I never ever cook pesto. So when I'm making pasta, I take the pasta off the stove. I add the pesto. I blend it, and that's really the heat of the pasta. I may add some pasta water if I want to make a little bit of a sauce. But the heat of the pasta is what's gonna really make the whole pesto sauce blend together. So hopefully that helps you guys.
I think so. And Nyoka just said she's a vegetarian, so she loves this.
Yes, I mean, he's a pescatarian, so a lot of my recipes, I really learned to cook so that I'm not adding, anything with meat to our, our diets here. So yeah, if you're a vegetarian, this would absolutely be a great recipe. And again, a recipe that you can use for so many things.
So imagine people with gardens in the summertime and actually just taking those herbs or just buying them and having them on their kitchen sink or so and just having that so fresh to make this pesto.
By the way, I did this same pesto in the summer, and instead of using basil, I actually used spinach. And I did everything the same way. So I used spinach, I added some parsley, I believe I did it with the pistachio, honey roasted pistachios, could have been walnuts, I can't quite remember, but it was the same process. And it was just as delicious. So you could be very playful, you could, with your greens and play with it and see how you like it. And if you like it, do it again. And if you don't, try something different. So
I love that.
Yeah. Any other questions? There's something there from Elena I can see.
Thank you, Elix. I like the calmness of your work. It's so enjoyable. And Stephen must have trained you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
thank you, Elena.
Everything
said.
I've known, it's from Stephen. Yeah. He's the cook behind everything I do.
Elena's screaming.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, Elix. I didn't say that. Yeah. Elena, definitely anybody and everybody who knows me knows that that's completely absurd.
Yeah.
Seriously, completely absurd.
But if you do try this recipe, let me know, just like you've done with the pizza dough or the muffins. I know some of you do.
And I love when people send pictures.
Yes.
And just to let us know, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And I would never think, like, for me, pesto and pizza or pesto in anything. And it is the most delicious topping.
And this is super healthy.
Yes.
Olive oil, greens, garlic, just a little bit of cheese and some nuts.
So Michelle said, when you make the pizza, when do you put the pesto on?
So you make the dough, just like I made the dough last time. And then once the dough is, ready to,
Go in the
put
oven.
the topping. No, not go. Then you put the pesto, you put your toppings, and then you put it in the oven. With the pizza, of course, cooking the pizza is going to cook the pesto. So that rule of thumb, whenever you're using pesto on pizza, it's not the same. When you're using pesto on pasta or any veggies, I never cook the pesto ever. So it should be a very fresh ingredient. But when you're making pizza, that's a different use of the pesto. So it's okay to put it in the oven.
That is also like a Mediterranean, like food source or diet because of the greens and the oil, and that's the best diet.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And that's why, I always get organic, extra virgin olive oil because this is a really healthy oil for all of us. So I think Michelle said something. I don't know what
she did. She said, "Oh, thank you. You are the best."
Thank you, Michelle.
And Nyoka said, "I think I can have it with pita bread, scoop and eat." Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like a hummus.
Like again, this. I've done this. If we have parties, this is something I would put out with veggies. With toast, with bread. Again, this can be used for just about anything. And the key here is just be playful. I use pistachios. Use whatever you want. If you want to use walnuts, use walnuts. If you want to use some other nut that you are drawn to, use it. Be playful. By the way, I use Parmigiano Reggiano. You don't need to use Parmesan cheese. You could use some other cheese that you like better. You don't need to add cheese if you don't want to add cheese to it. Again, be playful. There's no one way to do a pesto.
You know what? It's sort of like when I talk and tell people about meditating, that there's no one specific way. There's no right or wrong way to meditate. It's the same way with cooking.
Yeah, same. Well, with cooking, with baking, it's a different story because baking is an exact science, so you do have to follow the recipe. But with cooking, is you let your heart drive you.
Yeah.
You know,
And Bernie said green leafy vegetables. It's the best.
absolutely. And again, you know, be playful. Try it with. I did it with spinach, and it was delicious. In fact, I will say this: that when I did it with spinach, I used it in a pasta dish. And I did, actually, Stephen will tell you, I did a cold pasta dish with, I roasted the vegetables separately. I boiled the pasta separately. I put it all together and I added the spinach pesto. Stephen, if you remember this, said to me, this is one of the most delicious pasta dishes I've ever had.
I
He
did.
had no idea that that was a spinach pesto. No idea.
It was amazing.
Whatsoever.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. It tastes so amazing.
So be playful and enjoy the recipe and let me know how you made out.
I love that.
Yeah.
That cooking segment was incredible, Elix.
Thank you. Thank you. No, we're good. So I think we can keep it like that.
I think we're good here.
Yeah, we are good. So anything? Yeah.
No, I think we're at time. It's a little crooked, but normally, I do readings, but I am just energy out. I just had a really crazy day yesterday. So next Sunday I will, and also I'm not doing readings because Friday, as we mentioned earlier, through the static is on 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it's WARA 1320 AM. You can go to my website, it will bring you there. You can go to my Facebook page, and it's streamed on my Stephen the Medium Facebook page. For whatever reason, they can't stream it on Instagram. I don't know why. It's just Facebook. And if you don't have Facebook, well, I guess because if you're watching this via YouTube, you can actually go under WARA 1320 AM YouTube's channel, and they stream it on YouTube. So you also don't even need social media at all. So, or you can just plug in, through iHeartRadio and listen to WARA 1320 that way. So that is a cool hour because people just call in and I just start giving readings, which is really wild. So, and that's the last Friday of every month.
And by the way, one thing before we go, I was going to say, one thing before we go, a shout out to my team, my CrossFit team at 1620. So Matt, Lisa, and anyone else that may be here, maybe
and listening and watching,
whether live or later on. Shout out to all of you guys.
And I've been, as Elix knows, I've been upstairs in my office going through. I've just got so many boxes that when we sold my mom's house that I still have not been through, and that was a long time ago. So I was just going through things, and maybe some of you know, I wrote it in my book. The whole book premise is on this. Is I lost my dad at 8 years old, so I was really excited that I got to find this. And this was so cool because I don't have a lot of memories of my dad. And as you can see here, it's just a little writing, and at the bottom says, "Love you, Stevie." It's really exciting.
How awesome is that?
That I got that or found that. My dad, I mean, he's with me all the time, but it's just another great sort of memory to go back that, prior to 8 years old when he was still here, that I got to do that. So, which is really cool,
That's
right?
awesome. Awesome.
I love that. So, but I think we're
good,
we're done.
everyone.
We're done, and you know what that
We'll
means?
see you again next week.
Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And please don't forget Friday, 1 p.m. Check me out on Through the Static. So Elix and I will just chat a little bit, and then I'll get right into the readings. And the rest of the show is just one call after another of me just doing readings of, hey, Stephen. And the great thing is you can be in the UK like Colleen is. Anywhere in the world and call. It's good. Get into it.
You're walking along the street,
Or you're at a party, or else you're alone, and then you suddenly dig. You're looking in someone's eyes, you suddenly realize
that this could be the start of something big. You're lunching at 21 and watching your diet,
declining a Charlotte Russe, accepting a fig, and out of the clear blue sky, it's suddenly Guy and Guy, and this could be the start of something big. And you guys have the start of something big also all the time. We'll see you next Sunday.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.